Intermediate students to another intermediate lesson at learnpianolive.com. This is an intermediate lesson, so the assumption is that you can probably play a couple songs at least well enough to impress a couple friends. You might have some basic understanding of music theory or something, but you really haven't had any formal training. So if that's you, you're in the right place. If you feel, throughout this lesson like it's way too advanced, you might want to go back and check out yesterday's lesson. It's in the archives, the beginner's version of this lesson. That might answer a lot of your questions, but feel free to ask away, ask any questions. This is about you and me, so you got to ask questions so I know, how to help you best. And there's a couple other things I want to talk to you too about before this countdown clock hits 0. All right, first and most important, ask a lot of questions. The way that you're going to do that is there's a couple different ways. You can jump in the chat room and talk with the other students who are logged in at the same time. I'll be watching the chat room too. You can ask your questions there. Or if it's a question that's just for me, a question about the lesson, especially if you know it's one that's going to fit best at the question and answer time at the end, then you can just put your name and your question in the box below this video, click submit, and then I will get that. Now, if you're already in the archives, if you're watching this not live, but you're watching this in the archives, then make sure at the end of the lesson you click on the survey button. You don't have to fill out the entire survey. If you want to, I'd love your feedback, but really the best part of that is that you can put your question in there, and then when you click submit, then I will get all of your questions. I'll make sure that you get them answered, whether you're in the archives or you're live. Right next to this video, there should be a PDF button and an MP3 button. Now, you don't really need those till after the lesson because I'm going to be showing you on screen the PDF and showing you how to use it. And I'll play the MP3 during the lesson too, so you know at the end of the lesson how you're going to use that. Some people, though, like to print out the PDF ahead of time, so as I'm making notes on my version, they can make the same notes on their version, but works either way. All right, this is perhaps the most important part. You need to leave the lesson when you feel like you're sufficiently challenged. So, I'm teaching these lessons, 12 to 15 lessons a month. Normally in traditional lessons, you're getting like a lesson every other week or so. So this is just way too much for you to take in. So, the goal is for you to get some little nugget of something that you can really practice on, really work on. Once you feel like you have that, then you really don't need anything else from me. Go practice. That's where this stuff is really gonna happen. You're not going to get through this lesson and be able to play something really well. You're going to get through this lesson and have the information that you need to practice more effectively. That's really the goal here. So don't feel bad about taking off early. If you feel like halfway through the lesson you got as much as you can take in at that time, then go practice that thing, and then come back whenever you've got that thing down, or you're bored with it, or you just want to check out the next topic. Don't forget also that you've got the archives too. So if you want to see one little thing, just repeat it over and over and over. Just give me, hopefully within 24 hours after the lesson, this thing will be up in the archives, so you can just go back and watch it over and over and over and over and just get that little segment down. All right, so honestly, I'm almost afraid to tell you this, but today, out of the 8 sectors of musicianship, the one that we're focusing on is improvisation. So this is, making stuff up, the much beloved, much feared improv sector. So anyway, this is, hopefully you're going to leave with a little better idea of how you can make up great sounding stuff and not have to necessarily have sheet music in front of you in order to be able to play cool sounding stuff and impress your friends and to have fun on the piano. So it's improv. Here we go. This is obviously an improv lesson, and we're hopefully going to get you from wherever you are to learn about some more scales and some more modes and other ways to improve your improv skills. Let's jump right in. I apologize for my voice. I don't know if it's allergies or cold or what, but anyway, I sound funky and I'm aware of it. So the first thing is, obviously this up here is our track, our play along. It's an F for a measure, a G minor for a measure, A minor for a measure, and a G minor for a measure. So that would sound something like this. And then G minor, then A minor, then G minor, and back to F. It's just going to loop for whatever it is. The track is 2, 3, 4 minutes, something like that. So that's that. And then I just want to talk briefly here about these scales. We covered a little bit yesterday. We covered a lot the major scale and a little bit the pentatonic scale, which is the second one here, which is basically just 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 of the F major scale. This play along track is in the key of F. So that's rule number 1 in improvising is what key are we in? And so we talked a little bit about that yesterday. So the pentatonic scale, not going to cover that one again. It's just those notes. And then we have, after that, the melodic minor scale, the blues / minor scale. It's not really a minor scale. It's not really a blues scale. It's just something kind of in between, where we have it's the regular major scale where we've lowered the 3, and we've also lowered the 7. So those are the two kind of bluesiest notes out of all of them. Here we go, see if we can turn that up a little bit. Kind of the bluesiest notes of all of them are going to be that flat 3. So when we play along with the track, add that bluesy note in there, and then that. So that's that flat 3 and that flat 7 there. Those two notes in the key of F are going to be the A flat and the E flat. And then if you wanted to, just to finish off the minor scale, this is an actual natural minor scale. So the question is, this D right here, should this one be flat or not? So in what I just played a second ago, oh, that's the end of the track. In the one I played a second ago, a regular D right there, but if we flat that one, that'd be a natural minor scale. Now this is super out, like that blues scale didn't quite match with this play along track, kind of did, but this one, when we add in that D flat, now it's really getting out there. The F blues / minor scale. That one right there is pretty far out. But once we get that D flat in there, that's going to be pretty hard to make it work into this track. We'll try it. So it could work in there, maybe a minute like 3 or 4 of the track, when you've already played through all of your other stuff and you're pretty far out there. You're not playing the regular major scale stuff anymore. Then it might sound like it fits in. I don't know. Anyway, it's in there. I figured we were so close to a natural minor scale there, I might as well go ahead and give you that one. But this one right here, the blues / minor scale, it's not really a blues scale, it's not really a minor scale, which you know if you've either were paying attention 3 seconds ago, or if you've played the blues and natural minor scale before, then you know that that's not really a thing. And so that's where we start getting into these modes. And so we're going to go ahead and do our feature of the day today, which is modes. A mode is, or modal is, a tune, a modal tune, is a tune that doesn't use just a traditional major scale. And so these are scales that have weird alterations, but the alterations are so common that we go ahead and classify it as like a thing. So a mode is just a scale that has weird alterations to it. So this one, for example, this is the Dorian scale, or the Dorian mode. So this is, if you took a regular like D major scale, if you're on Clapple Academy level like 2 or 3 or higher, you're playing D major scales already, and that has an F sharp in it and a C sharp. Now if you take F sharp and C sharp, which are the 3 and the 7, and you lower both of those, you come up with the Dorian mode. Dorian mode is just a major scale with a lowered 3 and 7. So now we have not that one, but that one, not that one, but that one. And you end up with all white notes. So that's why the D Dorian mode is related to the C major scale, because they're both just white notes. So D Dorian is generally considered the second mode of the C major scale, meaning that if you play the C major scale, but you begin and end on the second note, you'll end up with that scale, the D Dorian scale, second mode of the C major scale. The C major scale beginning and ending on a different note other than the 1, which I guess would be a different definition of mode, is just playing some regular scale with not starting on the 1 of that scale. So this is Dorian, it's starting on the 2, which is really helpful on chords like this. If you're ever on a 2 chord, the G minor chord in this case, because it's the 2 chord of the key that we're in, the key of F, then G Dorian would be an appropriate scale to play. So this is regular G major right here. If we lower the 3 and the 7, we end up with, lower both of those, we end up with that, which is G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F natural, and G. That right there is our G Dorian scale. And yes, it is the same exact set of notes as the original key, F. The second mode of that is G Dorian, and that's the scale that we would use for this particular chord, or any 2 chord in the key of F. We would use the G Dorian scale, which is the same notes I know as the key of F. So some of you are wondering, well, why in the world would I learn a G Dorian scale when it's just an F scale? It's just another name for the exact same thing, because when it's time for the G, a lot of times you want to think of G as home base. Think of G as the 1, because you're on that chord. So it's going to help to begin your phrases, your ideas on the 1 of that scale, which would be G Dorian, not F major. If you think of F as home, then you're always going to kind of feel like you're noodling around in the key of F, and then occasionally the chords come back and match up with what you're playing, but you're always playing F, and the chords go away from what you're playing, and then they come back to what you're playing. Instead, you want to go with the chords and be playing with the chords. So you're playing an F major, and then G Dorian, and then A Phrygian, which is the next mode up. So it's going to be still the key of F, but thinking of A as your home base, and that being your 1, your 3, and your 5 of the scale. So that would sound something like this. We are in. This is G, and A, and then G, and then back to F, so this is F major. G Dorian, A Phrygian, G Dorian, F major, G Dorian. Now you wouldn't actually play this, you would end up playing ideas that start on those notes. So F, G, A, G, F. So this sounds more like I'm following along with the music than the music is kind of following along with me, and I'm just noodling around in F. Feel every now and then like the chords will come back to that F, and it feels like, okay, finally we're back at home now, but then the chords kind of go away and I keep doing my little thing in F, and eventually the chords come back and join me. So if you want to sound more like you're going along with the chords and playing what's there with the track, you want to play along with those chords and using those modes. Now these are the modes of C here, so you'll need to either calculate the modes on your own by, for example, lowering the 3 and the 7 of the G major scale, and then when it's time for A Phrygian, lowering the 2nd, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th, or you can just play the F major scale beginning and ending on those notes, and you'll end up with the exact same set of notes. So A Phrygian is just the F major scale beginning and ending on A, or if you want to think of it as an A major scale, you lower the 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7. That's A Phrygian. It's an A major scale with lowered 2, 3, 6, and 7. And that's the case for all Phrygian modes whenever you have a 3 chord in a major scale, in a major key. Whenever you have a 3 chord in a major key, then you can take that major scale of that chord and lower this 2, the 3, the 6, and the 7, and you'll end up with your Phrygian mode, and that will fit much better than just noodling around in the key. But anyway, that's some modes for you. That's some additional scales to use, and that's our play-along chords, which I guess kind of counts as our wrap-up for the day. So if you have questions about that, let me know. Let's go ahead and get to some of those. It looks, wow, like we already have lots of them. Okay. When else do you use the Dorian mode? In a modal tune, that is a tune that uses exclusively a mode. It doesn't use a major scale. So if you have a tune that is modal, and yeah, pretty much try this. Almost any time you have a, nope, I was going to say anytime you have a minor 7 chord, then Dorian mode will be closer than the major scale. Any 2 chord is totally going to work. Any 2 chord. So whatever key you're in, go to the 2nd note of that key, and if that is the name of the chord being played at that moment, the appropriate mode is the Dorian mode. Which, as soon as you start playing this, I'm pretty sure you're going to feel like, what, this is stupid. I'm just playing in the original key, but you're not. You got to think of that, the note that you're on, that you're beginning that mode on, as the 1. So, yeah, anytime you have a 2 chord. Where do the minor scales not work? Probably on this track. It takes a lot of effort to make the minor scales work on this track because it's so flowy and major and happy all the way through. But really, honestly, I mean, I've heard some crazy people do some crazy things before. So just experiment. You find out where they don't work for you or where they do work for you, and that is called a style. And that would be your style, is you're the person who plays those minor scales on top of those major songs. And maybe no one wants to buy your album, or maybe it sounds great. Maybe you could pull it off. But they're just really colors. Flavors. So you just use those flavors or colors wherever it is that you think it sounds right. Some people hate it, some people love it, but this is for you. Could you ever do a video just on modes? Yes, we actually, I just finished one that means that it's in editing right now, which means it could be several weeks out, 3 weeks out. So probably before Christmas is going to be the modes video. We're really working on putting together that learning map thing where you can like pick a topic and then just go straight to it. So in order to do modes, that means you're going to have to know about, for example, major scales and names of notes and stuff like that. So you'll not only get that video, but you'll get all the videos that lead up to it so that you can go all the way from I know nothing about piano all the way up to whatever that one topic is that you want. So that's why it takes so long to get those out, is because we're trying to put that all in the grid of learning, so you can, those people who want to learn that thing can just go through the steps and learn it. But anyway, it looks like that is the last question. Let me refresh one more time, see if there's anything else. Nope, that is it. So if you are in the archives, then send your questions along. You know you'll get your answer. And until next time, you know I love you. Good luck. Have fun.